Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on Pain Hustlers starring Emily Blunt, Chris Evans, Andy Garcia, Catherine O'Hara. Everybody's in this damn movie. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys books 1 through 12. Available at Amazon.com. Don't forget Kindle Unlimited is free. And don't forget I will be at Mount Laurel Historical Society tonight in Farmers Hall at 7 p.m. for my talk on how to hunt the Jersey Devil. Let's get into it. Emily Blunt is broke, desperate, and she's in sales. So she gets a job with Chris Evans selling pharmaceuticals. And they do. And they make millions and millions of dollars. But the pharmaceutical is bad or addictive or whatever. And eventually the entire operation comes tumbling down the end. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. It's like the opioid crisis, essentially. Andy Garcia plays like a medical guy. I think he's an actual doctor. Chris Evans is I guess they start low level and then they build it up. See, the only thing I would criticize right out the gate is this is big pharma. There's no little guys in this, in my view. They're big already. Right? I think the people who did this and pushed drugs on people weren't little. Weren't ever little. They were working in, pharmaceutical companies already. But I'm sure there's some outliers there, some outsourcing going on. But it's a typical story of the rise and fall. So she becomes a great sales leader and ends up making tons of money and then training other people, and they're making 170 million a quarter, and it's just crazy. But eventually it all comes tumbling down. The FBI come in and tear it down. It's a typical story. It's based on a true story. Is it true? I don't know how true it is. Like the FBI now does something good. Although this takes place in the past, I assume it's more like closer to the 90s, 2000s. But let me see, get to the credits. Screenplay by Wells Tower and directed by David Yates. Wells Tower, interesting name. October 27th, rated R for adult situations. So, first act, Emily is broke. She needs an opportunity, so she has her car repossessed. Her mother's Catherine O'Hara, and she's trying to help her, and she's got a daughter. She goes to Chris Evans for a job, basically begs him for a job. He gives her a shot. Turns out she's a great sales lady, and they start selling drugs like crazy. Next thing you know, her commissions are through the roof. She's not living in a hotel anymore. And she's training other women to sell these drugs, and they're making insane amounts of money, but they're not thinking about the consequences of what they do. And of course, it all comes crashing down when the FBI decides to take them out. And they do. And they lose everything. So it's a rise and fall. Alright, so let's see. Is there any more on this? No. I'm not sure what drug in particular. I would assume it's the opioid crisis in the late 90s. Can't really tell from the suits. Andy Garcia is playing a guy who's a germaphobe, which that sounds like a fun role for him. This is the daughter. So, would I watch it? I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like some of this is, yes, it's exposing some of the problems with the pharmaceutical industry, but at the same time, it's covering some of it up, I feel. It's not really getting at the real guys. They obviously won't use the real names of the companies. And because they're starting out in like this low-level way, I think my vibe is they're going to portray it like, oh, these are just like little side guys who did this. No, I think these are the big companies doing this. But will it be good? I mean, it's a great cast. You know, Chris Evans looks a lot thinner, doesn't he? Doesn't he? He was all bulked up for Captain America. Now he looks like a regular dude. Yeah, I guess I would check it out. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of these because they're kind of predictable. It's the rise and fall. At first, she's going to have no money, losing everything. Catherine O'Hara's like, oh, don't worry, kid. You'll get back on your feet. Then she stumbles upon this job. And then, using her skills, she's making insane amounts of money. And they're having lavish parties. But then they find out that the drug is addictive or it's harmful. And they ignore the signs. And the FBI's coming. And they start covering it up. And, I don't know, somebody's going to jail. I'm not sure who. Maybe Andy Garcia. So it's kind of predictable. I mean, maybe if it's a short movie, maybe if it's a tight 90, I'd watch it. It's on Netflix. It would be down on my list. But that being said, if you like these kinds of movies, I think it would be pretty watchable. It's a little bit like The Wolf of Wall Street, kinda. Although I think that movie's more fun because it's so outrageous and crazy, whereas this, not quite there. It's kind of like The Wolf of Wall Street light with pharmaceutical companies, because it's meant to probably have an important message, but I feel like it might be buried to some degree because they won't really go after the pharmaceutical companies. I would love to see them do it. I would love to see them go after the pharmaceutical companies and really do something, really do a satire about. But I'm not seeing any of the suffering from the people using this drug or anything. Or maybe it's just a financial thing. I mean, maybe it's not about the drug at all. Maybe it's about Andy Garcia stealing a bunch of money and not reporting his taxes or something. But I don't think so. I think, but I think a lot of people would like this movie. I can see why it was greenlit, because after our recent medical issues, people aren't exactly fans of the pharmaceutical companies. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D, and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more base takes. If you can find a more base take, I say take it. Hope to see you tonight at the Mount Laurel Historical Society in Farmers Hall at 7 p.m. for my talk on how to hunt the Jersey Devil. Tomorrow, I'll be at Laurel Springs Night Market. Check the link below for my other 5 events this week. 5! It's crazy. Hope to see you there. We'll see you in the next one.